We were sitting in the hot tub, enjoying the warm August night. Next to me sat my wife, Elaine. Opposite Elaine sat her mother, Lydia. While Elaine wore a revealing bikini, Lydia was dressed in a conservative one-piece swimsuit. Elaine had already had a few drinks, while I wasn't much of a drinker and was still on my first glass of wine. Lydia, needing to work the next day, abstained from drinking. Elaine and Lydia are nearly identical in body size. From across the room, one could mistake them for twins. However, as you come closer, Lydia's maturity becomes evident. Her nose, chin, and fingers are slightly more defined than Elaine's. Our usual Friday routine was to watch a movie and then relax in the hot tub. We had just finished watching a film about a woman finding love after 50. My mother-in-law is 45. She had Elaine when she was 16. They remind me more of sisters than mother and daughter. Elaine constantly clashes with Lydia. They can argue over the most trivial things. I was listening to Elaine and Lydia discussing the merits of the movie when the conversation took an unexpectedly interesting turn. "How about you, Mom?" Elaine asked. "Do you think you'll ever get married again?" "I don't know," Lydia replied. "I'm in love, but I have no idea what the future holds for me." "What? Wait, you're in love? With who? How? I haven't seen you on a date in years. He's married. You're involved with a married man. I don't believe it. Miss Destroy All Cheaters has a married lover. I'm not involved with a married man. I'm in love with a married man. He doesn't know. This is pure surrealism. Mom, are you some kind of stalker? Who is it?" "No, I'm not a stalker, and it's none of your business. My name is John, and I just celebrated my 35th birthday. Elaine is 6 years younger than me. I worked on offshore oil rigs abroad for 10 years. Formally, I first got acquainted with Elaine when she was 22. She worked in accounting, and we exchanged emails. If it's possible to flirt through work emails, we certainly did. In truth, I didn't know what she looked like until I returned. The job provided financial rewards, but the lifestyle wasn't conducive to starting a family. I quit that line of work when I turned 30. I spent a few weeks at the Department of Internal Affairs in Houston and eventually met Elaine. I was transitioning to a new career, and Elaine was handling my paperwork. Once we started working for different companies, we began dating. I had never been in a serious relationship before. Elaine had been deeply committed to her high school sweetheart, but they drifted apart during college. She's an attractive woman, though not a runway model. I've started to go gray for my age, a result of working in tough conditions. Despite appearances, there seemed to be some kind of chemistry between us. I'm not sure what a typical romance is supposed to look like, but we dated for several months. It's hard to pinpoint why it took us so long to become intimate, but after about 10 dates over the course of 3 months, it finally happened. We were on a picnic and, admittedly, had probably had a little too much to drink. It may have also helped that a couple nearby was passionately making out, which seemed to set the mood. When we got back to my place, Elaine was all over me. I pulled her top over her head while she worked on my belt and zipper. Once we had discarded our clothes, we moved to the center of the bed. She lay back, and I positioned myself close to her. The intimacy was warm and comforting. Elaine was a quiet and reserved partner, embracing me with her legs, but not taking an active role. It had been a long time since I had experienced such closeness, so the first wave of pleasure came quickly. I helped Elaine find her own sense of satisfaction with gentle and attentive gestures. After a brief moment of closeness, I felt ready again, this time pacing myself more carefully. While she seemed to enjoy the sensations, her passive nature made it difficult for her to fully respond, so I once again helped her with tender care and patience. About 10 days later, we repeated the experience. She remained a somewhat passive recipient of my efforts, although we gradually increased the frequency of our intimacy. The routine rarely changed. I tried to introduce new positions, but the standard missionary style was what she preferred. I'm not complaining. We had sex several times a week, with additional manual intimacy on the remaining days. It seemed Elaine had a particular fascination with my size. After that discussion, we set a date, and 2 years ago, about 10 months after the ceremony, Elaine gave birth to twin girls. Shortly before I started dating Elaine, I bought a house on a small lake. It was in a nice neighborhood, about a 20-minute drive from my office. Elaine moved in with me when we got married and returned to work about 2 months after the girls were born. Lydia works as an assembler of medical devices. She usually works from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. She has been living with us for the past 2 years and helps Elaine with the girls. She's truly a sweet lady. It's a pity she hasn't found someone to share her love with. I didn't mind her living with us, but Elaine felt a bit awkward about it. It's not like we were hosting adult-themed parties. The most we did was occasionally invite a couple of friends over for steaks. I couldn't understand Elaine's concerns. Lydia has been an invaluable addition to our household. She is more than happy to take care of the girls and insists on contributing by cleaning and doing laundry, as she feels she should pay rent. Just a few weeks ago, we lent Lydia $800. She said it was for a down payment but didn't tell us what for. Elaine and I discussed it before making a decision. There's a big difference between lending money to a brother who lives 2,000 miles away and lending it to a mother living under the same roof. When I gave her the money, she said she'd pay back $200 a month. As we dried off with towels, the heated conversation continued. And what does he look like? Who? Your lover. None of your business. Where does he work? Where did you meet him? None of your business. I'm not sharing details. Fine, he lives at the North Pole, and I see him every Christmas. Got it. Lydia went downstairs to get ready for work, and I helped Elaine tidy up. Today's conversation had an unexpected upside for me. It led to one of the best intimate moments we'd had in quite a while. What got you so worked up today? I asked. Just the thought of Mom having a lover. I don't know. I forgot she's a woman. She's just Mom. If I understood correctly, she hasn't been with him, so technically, he's not her lover yet. Yeah, I guess so, but I still find it fascinating. Our sex life before marriage was predictable, much like our family routine now. Elaine got pregnant almost immediately after we got married. Then came the twins, her mother moving in, and our work responsibilities. These are all excuses, but we haven't yet found that zone of comfort and enjoyment when it comes to bedroom activities. Elaine never lets me go too long without some form of attention, though. I enjoy caressing her and inhaling her natural scent. She touches me, but it's not quite the way I'd prefer. Recently, she tried using her feet, which was different and surprisingly pleasant. The conversation continued after dinner on Saturday evening. Mom, why are you just sitting around waiting for your lover? Why not keep looking until you find someone who's available? I wish it were that simple. When you're in love, it's hard to think about anyone else. How long are you willing to wait? Well, I actually think I have a chance. I suspect his wife is cheating on him. If he kicks her out, I'm planning to fluff his pillows before the scent of her shampoo fades. Mom, what? I had no idea you could be like this. You really want him, don't you? You're acting as if you've never been in love. Mom, have you forgotten the father of your grandchildren? Well, then you probably know how I feel. Let's say his wife is cheating on him. What do you think he should do about it? Elaine asked. The possibilities are endless. Poison her. Smother her in her sleep. An accidental overdose. If she passes out in the bath, she could drown. Playing with guns is messy, but a well-timed shot during a late-night drive. You know, I could even help him find a way to get some poison. Slip it into her drink or something. I still have that pistol case in the basement. I think some of these methods could be made to look like accidents. There she is, the mom I remember. Missed destroy all cheaters. Lydia once tried to get married. I don't know all the details, but her ex invited another woman over while he was babysitting Elaine, who was 4 years old at the time. Enraged, Lydia couldn't remember the combination to the lock on her gun case. By the time she found where she had written it down, her ex had enough time to escape. Lydia managed to fire a few shots at his departing car. No one knows where he ended up. Whenever we watched a movie about marital infidelity, Lydia passionately insisted that every cheater deserved to be killed. For such a sweet lady, this sentiment seemed out of character. I suspect the pain from her marriage cut very deeply. If ever there were a poster woman for the old saying, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned," it would be Lydia. Part of living in our neighborhood is the sense of community. We have a rotating barbecue party every 2 weeks. There are probably a dozen families who participate, ranging from the Harmons, who are in their 70s, to the Seymours, who are newlyweds and younger than Elaine and me. In 2 weeks, Rex Hansen will be hosting the next one. Rex is a true firearms enthusiast. I've seen his gun collection, and it's impressive. He goes hunting every weekend and spends the rest of the week cleaning his guns. On Tuesday, I saw his collection. That evening, he was in the middle of cleaning them. He has a mayonnaise jar filled with a cleaning solution, which he uses to soak small parts before reassembling the weapons. He smokes cigars even while working on his firearms. Lydia was watching the kids while we attended another barbecue today. I wouldn't say these parties are always drama-free. Occasionally, someone does something that doesn't pass the spouse's sniff test. I've always been just an observer and have never noticed anything unusual in Elaine's behavior. On Friday night, while a movie was playing, Elaine couldn't get enough of Lydia's secret passion. Let's say he leaves his wife. Why do you think he'd pay any attention to you at all? That worries me. If I approach him too early, before he's had a chance to deal with his anger, I might miss my opportunity. I just need to find a way to let him know I'm interested and hope I get lucky. Maybe you should start giving him signals now. Elaine, if I had a chance to show him that his wife is cheating, I'd do it. Until then, he's happily married and I won't interfere. So, are you spying on his wife? A little. Enough with the questions. Let's just watch the movie. Everything was fine until the following Tuesday. I was sitting at my desk when my quiet little world exploded. Overnight, an envelope had arrived with several photos and a flash drive containing a video. Elaine and Rex were having an affair. The photos captured their meeting the day before, along with a few other Mondays. The video was from their encounter the previous day. The photos and video revealed more than I could bear. How is it that a lover gets all the things a husband is denied? I can count on one hand how many times Elaine indulged me in ways she claimed to dislike. After one attempt, she scolded me and avoided intimacy for weeks. Yet here she was with Rex, eagerly catering to his desires before their activities even began. After they were intimate, they embraced each other closely. I once brought up the idea of trying something different, only to be shut down immediately. Now, I overheard her saying to him, "Not this time, I'm still sore from last time." Instead, she lay on her back, her head tilted off the edge of the bed, as he continued until he was satisfied again. That day, I made a decision. I wasn't going home. Some things are just impossible to see or hear. I sent Elaine a message saying I had urgent business in New Orleans and would be gone for a few days. I went home and packed everything I thought I might need. If I forgot something, I could always shop for it later. The girls were asleep, and Lydia was usually sleeping at this time of day as well. I came and went unnoticed. I kissed the girls on their foreheads while they slept, then returned to work and requested a few days off. I also stopped by HR to start making some changes. After speaking with the divorce attorney, I followed the usual steps. I opened new bank accounts and transferred 50% of the funds into them. Elaine had her own credit cards, so those weren't my concern. My attorney advised me to leave the health insurance, as it was since I would still be responsible until the divorce was finalized. The attorney also began the process of evaluating my home. It was time to plan my next steps. First, I dealt with Rex. I mapped out a strategy. Rex was a gambler by nature. Every Tuesday evening, he cleaned his firearms. One of the items I had asked Elaine to buy was a can of paint stripper. I wore latex gloves, ensuring the only fingerprints on it would belong to Elaine. I specifically requested a brand containing methylene chloride, a chemical banned in many countries but not here. I emptied the mayonnaise jar Rex used for cleaning small parts, refilled it with the paint stripper, and placed the new jar on the far edge of the shelf. Since both liquids were colorless, Rex could only detect the difference by smell. Given that he puffed on cigars while cleaning his guns, he likely wouldn't notice anything unusual. This could prove to be a fatal mistake. If Rex stayed in the room for more than a few minutes, he would start to feel dizzy and disoriented. The warning on the can clearly stated it should not be used in an unventilated area. If Rex didn't leave the room within 30 minutes, he could suffocate or suffer long-term heart or brain damage. I returned to the backyard before anyone noticed I was gone. By Wednesday, the hazmat team carried out the body bag. Cut down in his prime, what a shame. How hard is it to read the warning labels on a product? It seems wrong that something so readily available could kill so easily. The 10 o'clock news ended with an in-depth report exposing the dangers of this particular brand of paint stripper. On my way home from work, I played the part of an ignorant bystander. It was clear that Elaine had been crying. Lydia kept busy tending to the girls. Dinner passed quietly. "What's bothering you, Elaine? You look worried," I asked. "John, did you hear? They found Rex dead." already lining up a replacement. A replacement? What are you talking about? A replacement for what? Don't worry, Elaine. You'll find someone else to sleep with. To say she was caught off guard would be an understatement. Dilu, what the hell is that supposed to mean? That means you were regularly sleeping with Rex, and now that he's dead, you'll have to find someone else. You've lost your mind. I've never done anything like that. For God's sake, you might even be the last person who saw him alive. Want to see the photos, or maybe the video? From the side, I heard Lydia's voice. Can I see them? Mom? No. Elaine's voice shook with anger. This has spiraled out of control. I'm sorry. Let me explain. While Elaine pleaded for understanding, Lydia left the room and returned a few minutes later. Lydia handed her daughter something and said, Elaine, here, drink this. Or maybe you'd like to lie down and rest. Perhaps a bath would do you some good. Elaine literally ran down the hallway and slammed the bedroom door shut. Lydia tried the doorknob. You can run, but you can't hide, Elaine, she said firmly. I collapsed onto the couch. A moment later, Elaine opened the bedroom door, shoved past Lydia, grabbed her purse, and rushed out of the house. She had a small suitcase and a duffel bag with her. She left the front door wide open, and I watched as her sedan pulled out of the driveway. John, could you come here for a minute? Lydia called. I found her in my bedroom, fluffing the pillows. John, all I'm asking for is a fair chance when the time comes, she said, handing me a piece of paper. It was an invoice from a private investigator, showing a paid advance of $800. She had written a note, John, I might need help covering the remainder. I kissed her in a way that was highly inappropriate for a mother-in-law. You deserve more than just a fair chance. I'll let you know when. Since Elaine stormed out, things have been eerily quiet. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't heard anything from her. I thought her maternal instincts would kick in and she'd want to see the girls, but no. Lydia is more than capable of taking care of the twins. The ATM trail leads to the West Coast. Elaine might think she's spending my money, but she's mistaken. My 50% was transferred before her departure. I've initiated the divorce process, and she was served at her workplace in Bakersfield. According to my attorney, the longer she stays out of contact, the harder it will be for her to gain custody. At this point, she was facing an uphill battle for custody. You can't just abandon 2-year-old twins. In the morning, I hug and kiss Lydia goodbye, and I do the same when I return from work. I hold her tightly before she heads off to her job. Nowadays, she wears makeup and perfume. She looks just as good in a bikini as Elaine ever did. My anger has started to subside. I can tell it's going to take some time. One evening, Lydia and I were enjoying the quiet. It was too cold outside for the hot tub, and the girls had already been put to bed. John, can I ask you a question? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Fair enough. Go ahead. I watched the video. Is that how Elaine behaved with you? Not even close. Although I didn't watch the whole video, I tried to get her to try some of the things she did with Rex at the beginning. With me, she was always a very passive lover. I haven't tried most of the things I saw, Lydia said. I thought that when I find the right person, I'd want to try all of it. I'm not interested in other people in the bedroom, just me and my partner. Damn, this woman doesn't play fair. I asked Lydia if I could take her out on a date the day my divorce is finalized. She said yes. I told her I had to remain true to my vows until the divorce is official. The last thing I want is for Lydia to think I'm a cheater. I think she understands. Elaine didn't put up a fight. I'll have custody of the twins. With the divorce nearing its conclusion, I can hardly wait to start dating again. Thanks to everyone who took the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share your thoughts on the events in the comments below. Take care.